The coffee in my hand was the only thing keeping my soul attached to my body when Linda slammed her manicured fist onto my desk. You want to talk about a bad start to a Tuesday? Imagine a woman whose hair is a structural marvel of hairspray and spite screaming that your entire department is a waste of company oxygen. She didn't even look at the monitors displaying the glowing red warnings of a system under heavy load. She just saw me, a guy in a hoodie, and decided I was the reason her quarterly bonus felt light. The air in the server room always smelled like ozone and expensive electricity, a sharp contrast to the cloying, floral perfume Linda wore that now choked the small office space. I took a slow, deliberate sip of my lukewarm latte, listening to the rhythmic hum of the cooling fans, a sound that usually soothed me but now felt like a ticking time bomb. Linda's face was reaching a shade of purple I didn't know human skin could achieve. Do you ever look at someone and wonder how they managed to fail upwards so spectacularly? Because looking at Linda, the newly appointed VP of Operations who couldn't tell a CPU from a toaster, I was genuinely baffled. Everything is too loud, she shrieked, her voice cracking like dry wood. The fence, the lights, the sheer cost of this floor, it's an indulgence. I looked at her, then back at the dashboard showing 30,000 active users currently processing transactions on our global fintech platform. We are in the middle of the East Coast morning rush. Linda, is it? My voice dropping into that low, dangerous calm that usually warns people to back off. If I even throttle these systems right now, the lag will cascade. If I shut them down, we lose millions in minutes. Do you understand the scale of what you're asking? She didn't care. Of course she didn't care. People like Linda don't see infrastructure. They see line items on a spreadsheet that they can delete to look like heroes to the board. She leaned in so close I could see the frantic glitter in her eyes. A woman obsessed with a power trip she hadn't earned. I am the VP of Operations, and I am telling you that this noise and this heat are a sign of inefficiency. Yes? Her breath smelling of peppermint and ego. I want this room silent. I want these servers dark. I want it done now. Or you can find a new place to play with your expensive toys. I felt a long, weary sigh escape my chest. The kind of sound you make when you realize the bridge is already on fire and you might as well enjoy the warmth. The strange, cold clarity washed over me. Have you ever had that moment where the good employee part of your brain just snaps? It's a quiet click, like a light switch. I reached for my keyboard, my fingers hovering over the terminal. You want the servers off, Linda? Every single one of them? Right now? During peak hours? I don't pay you to ask questions. I pay you to obey, she barked, throwing her arms up as if she were crowning herself queen of the cubicles. But I thought, if you want to play God with the grid, let's see how you handle the fall. I typed the command sudo shutdown h now across the primary clusters. I didn't just stop the service, I pulled the heartbeat of the company out by its roots. I looked her dead in the eye, my finger poised over the enter key, feeling the static electricity of the room dancing on my skin. One more time for the record. Linda, you are officially ordering me to terminate all active sessions and power down the global mainframe immediately? Do it, she yelled, her voice echoing off the glass partitions. I hit enter. The silence was violent. Have you ever been in a room where a massive machine stops all at once? The high-pitched whine of the cooling fans died instantly. The rhythmic blinking of thousands of green LEDs turned a dull, lifeless gray. The sudden absence of sound was heavy, pressing against my eardrums like deep water. The heat, previously whisked away by the airflow, began to settle in a stagnant, stifling wave. Linda stood there, a smug, triumphant smile spreading across her face as she smoothed her blazer. See? She whispered, her voice sounding unnaturally loud in the dead air. Peace and quiet. Was that so hard? My phone didn't vibrate, it screamed. In my pocket, the emergency pager went off with a frantic, metallic wail. Then my desk phone started ringing. Then the internal VoIP lines. Across the office floor, through the glass, I saw the sales team jump as their screens went black. I saw the customer support lead stand up, pulling off his headset in confusion. It was like watching a city lose its lights from a distance. The mocking chuckle bubbled up in my throat. I stood up, grabbed my bag, and tucked my laptop under my arm. Where do you think you're going, Linda? Her smile faltering as she noticed the chaos erupting outside our little bubble. You told me to shut everything down. Is it? Walking toward the door. That included the security authentication servers, the database, and the cooling management. Since the system is dark, there's nothing left for me to manage here. I'm going to lunch. A long lunch. Maybe a permanent one. I left her standing in the center of that silent, darkening room. The smell of ozone replaced by the stale scent of her own confusion. As I walked through the bullpen, it was pure cinema. People were frantically rebooting machines that wouldn't turn back on. A man who usually moved with the grace of a shark burst out of his corner office, his face the color of a ripe tomato. What happened to the trade floor? He roared. Why is the ticker dead? I didn't stop. I just kept walking, the glass doors sliding shut behind me with a soft, final hiss. I sat at the bistro across the street, ordered a double espresso, and watched the fireworks through the window. 10 minutes later, the black SUVs pulled up. 20 minutes later, I saw Linda being escorted out by 2 security guards, her designer bag clutched to her chest, her face now pale and hollow. She looked small. She looked like someone who had finally realized that the world doesn't run on managerial intuition, but on the invisible work of the people she thought were beneath her. My phone buzzed again. It was the CEO. Please come back. We'll double the salary. Just turn the lights back on. I looked at the message, then at the sun hitting the pavement. Power is a funny thing. People like Linda think it's something you grab and wield like a club. They don't realize that true power is the quiet hum in the background that makes everything else possible. When you disrespect the foundation, don't be surprised when the roof caves in on your head. I didn't reply immediately. I wanted them to sit in the dark for a little while longer. I wanted them to feel the weight of the silence. The lesson here is simple, and it's one that every Karen in a corporate suit eventually learns the hard way. Never demand a total shutdown unless you're prepared to live in the dark. Justice isn't always a courtroom drama. Sometimes, it's just the sound of a fan stopping and the realization that you are completely, utterly replaceable by the very systems you tried to destroy. I finished my coffee, stood up, and decided that my new hourly consulting rate was going to be absolutely astronomical. Because when you're the only one who knows how to bring the fire back, you get to decide who gets to stay warm.